Time check is 8 p.m. Nigeria time on Global TV's News Prime. President Bola Tinubu appoints presidential aide on disability matters. Federal government probes extension of discourse licenses. Fault power privatization. Minister of Aviation appeals to Labour to cease distribution of aviation activities. Plus, old banknote remains legal tender, says CBN. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV's News Prime, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. It is determination to ensure that every segment of society is sufficiently catered to within the ambit of the renewed hope agenda of his administration. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Mohammed Abba Issa to serve as the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Disability Matters. Mohammed Abba Issa is a distinguished champion of persons with disabilities with over a decade of experience in local and international advocacy on matters concerning persons with disabilities. The new presidential aide is a graduate of public administration with honors from the University of Maiduguri, where he would go on to earn a master's in public administration at the same institution in 2017. Meanwhile, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Inspector General of the Police, IGP Olukayode Egbetokun, have been asked to probe the incessant and senseless killings and violent intimidation of the people of Kogi East by suspected thugs who have been allegedly given cover by security agencies. The call was made by an allied organization of the professionals of Kogi State Extraction Club 582 in a press statement signed yesterday in reaction to the killings in Aingba on Tuesday morning by its president Samuel Onekutu. The club said, "We are worried that despite the deployment of armed troops to the state for Operation Safe Conduct, Aingba, the social and commercial headquarters of Igala Land on Tuesday, witnessed another show of senseless violence that led to the killings of 5 policemen. This election is the first to be conducted under the watch of President Bola Tinubu. We want our people to be given the assurance of the security of their lives and limbs during this election and at all other times, so that they can make their contribution to the rapid growth of the national economy," Onekutu said. As well, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, yesterday said privatization was not the right way to go for the country. Rather, commercialization would have been better. The minister, who stated this during an interactive section with journalists in Abuja, also said the government has opened investigation into the legality of the extension of the licenses of the distribution, stressing that a copy of the license with the Ministry of Power was expected to expire this December. Adelabu disclosed that an increase in electricity tariff is not immediately on the cards, as the political situation of the country demands that there must be improvement in the liquidity of power supply. They decry that over 90% of the electricity being generated in the country, which it put between 50 to 90 megawatts, comes from diesel and premium motor spirit generators. He said the federal government would prioritize off-grid solution while trying to resolve the challenges with the transmission of electricity, noting that Zungeru and a number of other hydropower plants would be added to the grid in the coming weeks. Adelabu disclosed that the federal government is looking at prioritizing small hydropower plants that can be easily dispatched without necessarily going through the grid. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has appealed to Labour leaders to cease disruption of aviation activities across the country. Keyamo spoke at the ongoing ministerial retreat of the ministry in Efuru, Owe Local Government Area Council of Delta State Thursday, condemning the alleged molestation of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC Chairman Joe Ajaero. The minister advised that as much as possible, people must avoid environments that will cause such manhandling. He said aviation was not involved in the alleged molestation of the Labour leader. He said in targeting aviation, it affects both foreigners, adding that this is a disruption to the entire country. And the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institution has reiterated its commitment to reverse brain drain in health workforce in the country's Federal Medical Center FMC Jabi Abuja disclosed that no fewer than 51 health workers resigned their appointment from the hospital since the beginning of 2023 to seek greener pastures. The chairman of the House Committee on Health Institution, Amos Governor Magaji, at an oversight function to assess the level of healthcare delivery at FMC Jabi facility, pledged that the committee will focus on improving the budgetary allocation for the health sector. Global TV health correspondent Fazia Lukman tells us more.
The chairman House Committee on Health, Amos Magaji, has disclosed that the committee is working towards ensuring that the hospital gets another land allocation to expand its health services.
Challenges from the hospital, as we have noted here. Number one, we have the issue of power. For some hospitals have devised different means of, sometimes it pays more to even have an arrangement with the power sector, like NEPA, so that you reduce your power. Maybe you have to engage with them more to see how the power generation in this, or the power supply in this area is improved. The issue of space, we need to also, as I said earlier on, we want to have all the correspondence with relevant agencies. We're going to pick it to the floor of the House and make sure that this issue is really looked into. The issue of the emergency, maybe with the expansion, the emergency might not even be in this place that...
He also pledged that there would be an intervention in the health sector to ensure affordable, accessible and quality health care in the country. Earlier, the Chief Medical Director of FMC Jabi, Professor Saad Ahmad, who disclosed that about 51 health workers have left the hospital since the beginning of 2023, decried the speed at which every department in the hospital has been affected by brain drain.
To receive this honorable committee to this facility today. And I must thank the chairman and members of the committee for all the words of commendations, and we have also noted most of the other queries and contributions that have been made. For us here, we continue to take feedback to see how we can continue to improve on our services. The Japa syndrome is something that has befallen this country, but I'm happy to say a lot is being done to see how it can be reversed.
The House of Representatives Committee on Health Institution continues to advocate for improved healthcare services and access for all Nigerians, as a visit to FMC Abuja underscores their commitment to achieving this goal. Fauziya Lukman, Global TV News.
The civil society organization have been urged to engage with the new administration, especially the lawmakers, to help address legal and regulatory barriers that impede their effectiveness. They were advised by stakeholders at the second National Conference on Civil Society Operational Environment, where the team sustaining public benefit from CSO through collaboration and enabling regulations in Abuja on Wednesday. Speaking at the event, the head of the EU delegation to Nigeria, Ambassador Samuela Isukbe, stated that the CSO must set an agenda for lawmakers on enabling an environment for a civil space. Also, the two-day program is organized by the CSO Accountability and Transparency Initiative and funded by the European Union, British Council, and other 4 international organizations. You're watching Global TV News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. On StarTimes channel 276, kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. When a News Prime returns, old banknotes remains legal tender, says CBN. The news continues shortly with details of this and other stories right after the short break. Please don't go away. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, it's still Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Prime from the Nigeria's capital, Abuja. On some foreign news, where the military-installed president of Myanmar has warned that the country is in danger of breaking apart and the government cannot control fighting, which has broken out in Shan State. Former General Ian Sue, who was appointed after a coup in 2021, was speaking at an emergency meeting held by the ruling military council to address a series of coordinated attacks by anti-military insurgents, which have inflicted serious losses on the armed forces. 3 ethnic insurgent arms in Shan State, supported by other armed groups opposing the government, has overrun dozens of military posts and captured border crossing and the road carrying most of the overland trade with China. It is the most serious setback suffered by the junta since it seized power in February 2021 after 2.5 years of battling the armed uprising and provoked with its disastrous coup. The military is looking weak and possibly beatable. The government has responded with airstrikes and earthly bombardment, forcing thousands of people to leave their homes, but it has been unable to bring in reinforcement or recover the ground it has lost. Among hundreds of troops killed and believed to be the commander of government forces in northern Shan State, Brigadier General Ong Yeong, the most senior officer killed in combat since the coup. The insurgents say one of their aims is to close them down. As well, the UN's Human Rights Commissioner has accused both Israel and Hamas of war crimes. Volker Turk cited the continued holding of hostages by Hamas and what he called Israel's collective punishment of Palestinian civilians and its unlawful forcible evacuation of parts of Gaza. Meanwhile, UN Chief Antonio Guterres says the number of civilians killed in Gaza shows something is clearly wrong with Israel's military operation. Israel says 50,000 Palestinians left the Gaza City area on Wednesday after its military opened up the main road to southern Gaza for weeks. Israel has told people in the north of Gaza to head south, saying it is safer, though Hamas-run authorities reported airstrikes on Wednesday in both the north and the south. Also on Wednesday, the Israeli Prime Minister dismissed false rumors after reports that a proposal to release 12 hostages in exchange for a 3-day humanitarian pause is under discussion. And now time to talk some business. Every banknote remains legal tender and should not be rejected by anyone, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed. This is as the Airpeace Bank directed all its branches across the country to continue to issue different denominations of the old and redesigned banknotes in adequate quantities to deposit money banks. The Airpeace Bank stressed that every banknote it has issued remains legal tender and should not be rejected by anyone. This disclosure was contained in a public statement issued by the Director of Corporate Communications of the CBN, Issa Abdulmuni, on Wednesday in Abuja. Issa said the directive follows reports of scarcity of cash across some major cities in the country despite initial assurance by the CBN of sufficient cash stock in all locations across the country. Issa further advised members of the public to reduce the pressure on the use of physical cash and embrace alternative modes of payment. As well, the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, has provided insights into how the lingering conflict between Russia and Ukraine has impacted Nigeria's crude oil inflows at the international oil market, leading to a dip in demand from the once dependable Asian market at the onset of hostilities in the Eastern Bloc. Mariamo Idris, Executive Director, Crude and Condensate NNPC Trading Limited, said in a panel presentation at the August European Crude Conference in London that in addition to the substantial price shock impacting commodity and energy prices globally, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has triggered a situation where India, a primary destination for Nigeria grades, increased its appetite for discounted Russian barrels to the detriment of some Nigeria volumes. On the other hand, she noted that Nigeria crude flow to Europe has increased in a bid to fill supply gaps left by the ban on Russian crude, pointing out that 6 months before the war, 678,000 BPD of Nigeria crude grades went to euro compared to 710,000 BPD 6 months later and 730,000 BPD so far this year. In an endeavor to expand the congestion of overcrowded ports burdened with an excess of overtime cargo, the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, MFR, officially launched a committee on disposal of overtime cargo on Wednesday at the Nigeria Customs Service headquarters in Abuja. This development arises in response to the new Customs Act provision, which empower the NCS to dispose of containers that have exceeded their allotted time within their port. CGC Adeniyi emphasized that elevating port congestion stands as a paramount objective for the Nigeria Customs Service, as well as President Ahmed Tinubu offering the promise of heightened efficiency and enhanced trade facilitation, and acknowledging the initiative the General Manager of MD's office, Nigeria Ports Authority, Dorowaye Ayodele, expressed his relief, highlighting this issue of over 7,000 overtime containers that have remained for years across the ports. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A intercepted 13 trailer loads of foreign parboiled rice, 17 vehicles and other items worth 1,241,777,700 naira in October. This was disclosed in a statement posted on the official X handle of the Nigeria Customs Service on Wednesday. According to the statement, the acting controller of the unit, Hussein Ejibuna, made this known in a press briefing on Tuesday at the unit's headquarters in Lagos. The statement partly read, while showcasing the essential, Ejibuna explained that the 17 vehicles were seized from smugglers who wanted to circumvent the law, stressing that the Federal Operation Unit Zone A under his watch will make the remaining part of the year more challenging for smugglers in the interest of the country. The acting controller also disclosed that 9 suspects were arrested during the anti-smuggling operation, as some of them were currently undergoing prosecution in different states of the zone. Ejibuna pleaded to well-meaning and patriotic Nigerians to continue to support the unit with credible information that will assist in battling economic sabotage. And a quick look at sports. Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro has thrown his way behind striker Victor Osimhen to continue his impressive form on his return from the sidelines after the Napoli man copped an injury while on international duty for Nigeria. The Napoli striker picked up a hamstring injury during Nigeria 2-2 draw against Saudi Arabia in October and has not played for Napoli since scoring against Fiorentina on October 8. It was in Nigeria for about a week and he's returned to the Italy champions today, but he wouldn't feature in their UEFA Champions League game against Union Berlin. This is coming on the heels of a successful season with Napoli last season, and the Super Eagles coach believes he has the quality to keep up his momentum this season despite the issues that have surrounded him by the club recently. As well, Liverpool have named a 23-man squad for the European League fixture with Toulouse in France. The Reds departed John Lennon Airport ahead of Thursday's night's Group E match. 23 players make the journey to southern France, with Jurgen Klopp's side looking to secure qualification for the knockout phase of the tournament with a win. Liverpool scored for Toulouse: Alisson, Gomez, Endo, Konate, Diaz, Zobasla, Knowles, Mac Allister, Salah, Kopak, Elliot, Jota, Metcalfe, Matip, Chambers, Callum, Gordon, Dock, McConnell, Kelleher, Alexander Arnold, Kwasa, Rosek. As we end the news prime on Global TV, let's take a quick look at some of our top stories. President Tinubu has appointed presidential aide on disability matters. Federal government probes extension of discos licenses, faults power privatization. Minister of Aviation has appealed to Labour to cease distribution of aviation activities I also told you that CBN said old banknote remains legal tender. And that's it on Global TV News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. One Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using the Global TV NG. Another hand is now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the duty editor and production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. I will see you again.